Upzoning. Is your city doing some upzoning? Lots of cities are around the country, and most people don't know what it is or where it originates or what it actually does. Cities are spinning it really well, as they always do. That's the thing. If government spent half as much time actually doing good things for the people instead of hiring marketing agencies and ad agencies and PR firms to spin their programs, dude. I've got an article here from the Tyee, Tyee.com, and the title is Upzoning Might Mean More Apartments, but It'll Wreck Neighborhoods. We're going to dive into this. It's not that long of an article. But again, the reason I'm sharing these articles is this is popular right now. And from what I've seen, I spent about an hour last night scrolling through a gal's Facebook page from Seattle, right? And just finding out the horrific things that are going on up there, right? Almost like predatory. You know how you get those cards in the mail sometimes that says, "Oh, I want to buy your house," or "Oh, I'm in that kind of market of wholesale house buying." Almost sounds like that, like almost predatory, approaching neighbors and almost tricking them out of their homes. I'm not down with it. No, I'm not down with it. And that, from reading through her post, I mean, she's saying, oh, she's painted to be the bad gal in the situation when the city imposed upzoning in certain neighborhoods and it created a whole shit show. That's what I'm finding. That's why I'm diving in. I'm going to be focusing on this for a few videos here in my content here. So if you're into that, check out. There's going to be a bunch in a row here coming through on upzoning. I've got a video to watch. We're going to watch Zoned Out. I'm going to react to that live. I've already seen it once, but it's been a month or so. I'm going to react to that live. I got a bunch of other stuff. So if you're into upzoning, I'm going to be shooting out a bunch of upzone videos. Okay, let's get into this. I will put the link in the description down below. Upzoning might mean more apartments, but it'll wreck neighborhoods. Working class radicalized people will be, excuse me, excuse me. It's been a day. It's been a day and a week for me, okay? Subtitle is Working Class Racialized People Will Be Driven Out by City Promoted Gentrification. Well, right then and there, that correlates with the article I just read talking about New York Soho NoHo. You can find that right prior to this video on my YouTube page here. This is an article by Melanie Ma. It's from December 5th, 2019. And let me just tell you who she is. She's a contributing editor. She's also a culture and neighborhood advocate and tech worker in Vancouver. Okay, so let's get into this. Caption here on the picture, which I will use for the thumbnail, is new upzoning targets the commercial and side streets of East and South Vancouver, where many working class and radical, I don't know why I want to say radical, racialized immigrant families live. That's what irks me even more. It's promoted as, oh, it's going to be great for maybe low income and also diverse neighborhoods, diverse ethnic neighborhoods. And what I'm finding is it's not. It drives those people out because it drives the prices up. And the article I read prior, and you can check out the video, it's fascinating. Fascinating. It's horrific. Don't get me wrong. It's horrific and it's sad. And you're going to get pissed off like I am, but it is fascinating because what ended up happening is they were sold, oh, it's going to be more affordable and it's going to be more diverse. Well, they're wider, wealthier, and more crowded neighborhoods. I'm not down with it at all in any way, shape, or form. So if your city's doing this, pay attention, get involved, stop that shit in its tracks. It happened in Austin. The citizens got so fed up, they stopped it, right? We can stop it. You just got to go down to City Hall and stand there until they pull their you-know-what out. I hate to be that blunt, but that's what I'm finding. All right, let's get into it. When real estate developers pack a public hearing in Vancouver City Hall and the head of the Urban Development Institute shows up, you know the development industry wants something real bad. That's what happened last week at a city council hearing on a proposal to upzone swaths of the city, much of it in East and South Vancouver. City planners proposed allowing 4 to 6 story market rental housing in commercial zones and on side streets near parks, schools, and shopping. City council approved the plan, right? City Council approved it. This might sound like a win-win initiative. Policymakers are incentivizing rental housing and developers can profit at the same time. But in a city where an affordable market rental two-bedroom apartment is now $2,400 or more a month, who will be suffering the unintended, in quotes, collateral damage from the mass upzoning this time? That's what I'm finding too, right? Uh-oh, I clicked out of this thing. Let me get back here. That's what I'm finding too, is that developers profit, investors profit, and many times those investors are coming from out of state, maybe even out of country. We don't know. This is good for a few people. Remember what I told you about government all the time? Government works for a few people. Government doesn't work for all of us. It can't work for all of us. Like, they can't please everyone. Because if you try to please everyone, you're going to please no one. And so who do they please? They please the people with the money, right? Side note, I was in a community meeting the other day, and an older lady was upset that the mayor is not doing what the mayor told her she was going to do. And the lady's like, I voted for her. And I feel for this woman. But in my mind, I'm like, you should know now, by now in your life, she was older than me. You should know now, governments don't work for everyone. They work for a few people. And they typically work for the people that are going to set them up the best in careers afterwards. Same with the FDA. We've talked about that, right? A number, like 9 out of 10. Don't quote me on that, but it's high, maybe 8 out of 10. It's super high. A number of FDA commissioners go to work for BIGPHARMA after they're done. I think it's bullshit. I'm questioning the whole thing. But my point is this. The sooner we wake up and stop taking it, the better off we're going to be. It's our responsibility. I mean, just look at what government's done for you. I'm not going to dive too deep into this. You get the idea. Let's continue. This might sound like a win-win initiative. Okay, we read that part, talking about rent being $2,400 or more a month. When Leo Yu, a new father who lives in a small studio with his family in East Vancouver, heard about the new zoning, his thoughts immediately turned to his mother, Susanna, who relies on her East Side community to thrive. I worry that the new policies will create housing that favor wealthier tenants. Bingo, bingo. That's exactly what we found in the article about New York. Whiter, wealthier, and more crowded. So he says he worries that new housing will favor wealthier tenants while low-income folks like my mom will keep getting pushed out of the city, he said. It would be devastating for my family if my mom was evicted. Man, this is heartbreaking. You see why I'm into this? Like, I'm fired up about it. I'm going to just hammer these articles because for two reasons. I want to make sure that I know all of the details, because once I come down on a side, I'm going to come down hard and I'm going to push hard. I'm going to push back real hard. And that's one reason why I am really cautious about my information gathering. And by the way, if you have an article or a resource, link it in the description down below. Or if you know something about upzoning and these kind of detrimental effects or positive effects, I want it all, right? We need to come together in honest, open conversation and share these things. So if you have something, please leave it in the description down below. Let's see here. The upzoning targets large portions of the commercial and side streets of East and South Vancouver, where many working class and racialized immigrant families like yous live. Go along Kingsway and Fraser and you'll see the diversity of Vancouver. There's Little Saigon between Fraser and Nanaimo, I guess how you say it. Filipino eateries, affordable Chinese grocers, Hong Kong cafes, bakeries, hair salons, laundromats, dentists, hole in the wall, bubble tea shops. Bubble tea. It's been a while since I've had a bubble tea. I should probably get a bubble tea. Maybe that will calm me down. Indian and Pakistani restaurants, temples, churches, and more. Sounds like a pretty cool neighborhood to me. I don't want that to go away. Unlike most of the newly developed areas of Vancouver, you'll notice that there are few chain stores. Most of the businesses are mom and pop and people of color-friendly businesses. Winnie Kwan, who grew up and still lives in Southeast Vancouver with her multi-generational family, gushed about her neighborhood. I love my neighborhood of South Hill that spans from 50th Street to 41st Street along Fraser. There is literally everything you could possibly need. It is, in my eyes, a star example of neighborhood planning. Amen to that, right? I love her neighborhood, and I haven't even been there. Many working class minority families like Kwans and Yus own houses and live near those important commercial arteries. Pro-development activists call them millionaire homeowners and argue they can simply cash out and move wherever they please. But here's the reality. My mom almost choked when she saw what the increase in property tax is going to be next year. Bingo, another red hash mark in the con column, as in I'm not for it, right? When you increase activity in a market, you're going to drive prices up and also property values and property taxes up and also rents, you know. She's a full-time server in a dinner restaurant, and my dad a full-time chef in a Chinese restaurant. You're calling us millionaire homeowners, Kwan said in disbelief. My family isn't looking to sell. That's our only home. We're staying. We don't have anywhere else to go. So what the upzoning translates to is even higher property taxes that my family needs to pay off on top of the mortgage we're still working off. Man, this is what fires me up. I'm pissed about this. Upzoning can result in higher property assessments and taxes due to changes in the potential uses of the land and speculation. You concurred. My mom's landlords who live upstairs are low-income earners who barely get by, she said. They are recently widowed mom and teenage son. So let's see. My mom's landlord. So it sounds like she rents. Is that what I'm hearing? Not surprisingly, these on-the-ground realities were missed in the 236-page city policy document. Jargon like C2, FSR, and residential renter tenure obscure the richness of challenges of the people and businesses in these neighborhoods. Instead, the city simply calls them low-density transition areas. Yeah, of course they do, right? There's no one living there. There's no lives. There's no vibrant, unique, diverse neighborhoods there. Screw them. Kwan said the zoning means changes for the neighborhoods that will erase their character. This kind of zoning is often a precursor of gentrification. Yes, it is. Absolutely, she said. I hate to see the cultural diversity and what I see a key characteristic of the neighborhood I was born in, raised in, lost to gentrification. I'm going to pull that quote out and share that. Yeah, that's a baller quote. You is worried about who will be able to afford the new market rentals and what the new businesses catering to those tenants will look like. The policies will continue the wave of gentrification that exacerbates the housing crisis and makes Vancouver less livable, he said. Gentrification puts folks like my mom at risk of displacement, he said on Twitter. She lucked out by taking over my one-bedroom East Vancouver basement suite. His mother lives on basic retirement benefits and pays $1,050 per month rent, including electricity. New market rate rentals will never house her, Yu lamented. My mom uses one bus ticket round trip to shop at Leon Hong on Fraser Street for takeout meals, frozen dumplings, and sticky rice. She buys gifts from friends from a mom and pop oversupply retail store. She walks up and down Fraser Street weekly, he added. Hipster businesses will push out these shops. Yes, they will. Because when places become gentrified, the cool, diverse places that were there, the businesses and mom and pop shops, they don't want those. They want coffee shops, yoga studios, Pilates studios. Nothing against those types of businesses, but not here. Not in this cool, badass neighborhood. Why would you do that? Money's why you do that. Money is why the city does that. And scratching developers' backs and developers scratching their backs. Again, I'm all for people making money, but not at the expense of wiping out, not at the expense of destroying what they're saying they're going to go back in to build. Don't do it, right? Let's continue. We're almost done. We got a couple more paragraphs. So what do city staff have to say about citizens' concerns about displacement? Quote, based on economic testing, we do not anticipate a significant increase in the pace of development. Rather, we expect to see a shift from some of the anticipated strata developments to rental, end quote. Does that sound like a city official quote or what? That's like the one. Let's read it again. Let's read it again. Based on economic testing, we do not anticipate a significant increase in the pace of development. Rather, we expect to see a shift from some of the anticipated strata developments to rental. Again, listen to and take what people say from your city or your state or your national government with about 50,000 grains of salt. Spin doctors, my friends, spin doctors. However, we've seen the damage done by market rentals in racialized working class communities. The shiny Brixton Flats in Chinatown is a prime example. Sure, it's a market rental building, but the tiny, expensive suites were built for millennial urban professionals who live lightly, right? They're all minimalists. Again, nothing wrong with the minimalist. I'm kind of a minimalist myself. Potential tenants were initially forced into personality screening when applying for tenancy. A new hipster juice bar, Kevin and Kevin, is moving into the ground floor next spring. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like the personality screening, whiter, wealthier, and more crowded. You can't make this stuff up. This is like exactly what the left is saying they don't want or they want to help alleviate, and they actually cause this shit. I'm saying the left because I'm seeing it coming from liberal-leaning cities, right? Seattle, Portland, tried to get down in Austin, went on heavy in New York. I'm missing one, and I can't remember what it is. I mean, there's probably stuff in LA, but I'm not seeing it come from conservative cities. Let's see here. Might that be Used Mother's new reality soon? It's not hard to imagine, right? She might have to change the bubble tea for juice. Sorry, we're upzoning the neighborhood. Let's see. It didn't take long before economist Tim Davidoff jumped into the Twitter debate asking you, what do you think sufficient compensation for your mother would be in the event of redevelopment? You said the question misses the point. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Well, how do you put a price on all that cool stuff going on in that neighborhood and her experience there that she grew up with? Just because, and I don't know where these people are coming that are moving in these neighborhoods. I mean, are white, wealthy people outnumbering everyone else? I didn't think so. Like, who are these people? It's a cruel question to put a price on a person, he told me. My mom is incredibly happy living in her basement suite. She loves being near her grandchildren and has such great access to culturally appropriate businesses. She meets every morning for coffee with a group of Chinese elders in the neighborhood. That's awesome. But if my mom ever got evicted, she will never find a home in Vancouver again. This terrifies me. Couple more paragraphs. Stick with me. This is a fantastic article, and it paints a picture for me. I hope it's doing so for you. As we head east on Kings Way toward the area where Yu's mother lives, you'll approach a 37-meter ladder standing in the median of the road. It was commissioned by luxury real estate developer Westbank as a public art contribution for its massive Kensington Gardens condo project. The 108-rung ladder to nowhere is supposed to encourage the viewer to reach upward and beyond to achieve perceivably unattainable goals. Say what you will about Westbank's art tastes, but the developer has a knack for choosing pieces that reflect the depressing state of Vancouver. Ooh, cue the spinning chandelier. I don't know what that reference is to. Because soon, living and working in Kingsway and other areas affected by the zoning change will be perceivably unattainable goals. Yes, they will. For many of today's residents and businesses. That's awesome. That's the article right there. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Now, here's the thing. Now, in this case, we're not just learning, we're going to put this into action. So I encourage you, find out if this is going on in your city. If it's not going on in your city, count your lucky stars. Be prepared for it potentially to come to your city if your city is of any size. And quite frankly, I think it's going to want to be done in any city because it's a way for city officials to unlock revenue overnight. Oh, we just upzoned everything. Now we'll let our friends in the development community do the work and we'll get tax dollars, and it won't be from the development community. It'll be from you because you got to rent and or buy there. So I think it's total bullshit, and I think it's a factor of the inflation that is happening in our economy right now, and everyone's getting squeezed, and cities are like, well, we have this lever we can pull and screw over a whole bunch of neighborhoods and people, and we can save ourselves. Make no mistake about it. I don't care, because I'm seeing politicians. I'm going to go on a rant here, and bear with me. I'm seeing politicians who ran on, I care for you. I'm all about you. Let me know what I can do for you when I get there. But when they get into office, if push comes to shove, if inflation is 8%, if times are tight, if money is tight, who do you think they're going to look after? You or them? You can answer that on your own. Be very wary of politicians these days, because I'm seeing a lot of sketchy things, not only nationally and globally. I mean, you go back through my content, you know what I'm talking about. Something's going on. Something's not right, right? It's not right. And there's a lot of funny things. So again, get into action. If you don't have this happening in your city, plan for the best, prepare for the worst kind of a thing. But also educate yourself, use your social media. Our friends and neighbors in other parts of the country and even other parts of the world, but other parts of the country, speaking specifically about this specific topic, they need our help. Take action, learn, use your social media to turn the tide and get out there. That's what I'm doing. Like I said, when I started this video, I'm gathering up all of the information in a very quick fashion. I mean, like ASAP, so that I can get involved and steer this thing in a way that's going to be beneficial for everyone, right? Everyone. So thanks for watching. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. Remember, take action. It's super important. Share it with someone you know, or your social media page, or on a upzoning platform, or an upzoning Facebook or Instagram. Share it out. Pull clips out of it to share on your social. Pull quotes out of it. Go to this website. Go down to your city hall at the appropriate times if you have things coming up, and stand there until they change their ways, until they listen to you, right? Get in the game. Call your city council person. Call your mayor. Write them letters. Put pressure on them. Put pressure on them. No, let them know that you will vote or don't vote for them, right? Put pressure on them in a big way. Action, 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 big time. That's the only way it's going to go through. They're going to respond to us. Okay, thank you. I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching. Until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.